about this. So I'm going to read that. That's Esther 4:11 through 17. All the king's servants and the people of the king's provinces know, this was Esther talking, and she said, all the king's servants and all the people of the king's provinces know that any man or woman who goes into the inner court of the king who has not been called, he has but one law, put all to death, except the one to whom the king holds out the golden scepter, that he may live. Yet I myself have not been called to go into the king these 30 days. So they told Mordecai Esther's words. Mordecai told them to answer Esther, do not think in your heart that you will escape in the king's palace any more than all the other Jews. For if you remain completely silent at this time, relief and deliverance will arise for the Jews from another place, but you and your father's house will perish. Yet who knows whether you have come to this kingdom for such a time as this? Then Esther told them to reply to Mordecai, go gather all of the Jews who are present in Susa and fast for me, neither eat nor drink for 3 days, night or day. My maids and I will fast likewise. And so I will go to the king, which is against the law, and if I perish, I perish. And so Mordecai went his way and did according to all that Esther commanded him. So when I was reading that, I think it's fair to say Esther was probably scared to go before the king. I mean, it was pretty much certain death. Like, he could easily, order her to be killed for doing it illegally, and, I doubt he probably would have even felt bad about it, honestly. He probably had people killed all the time for that. But her uncle tells her, something I thought was interesting, I made a note about this, was that her uncle tells her, it's possible that you were brought to this place in this moment just for this. And I thought that was kind of wild, because I'm like, looking at it from the outside now, I would say, you would think that's, not a maybe. That's, a for sure, because, what are the chances that, it couldn't be a chance thing that she gets put in this perfect position to save them all at this exact time that this guy was about to go start killing them all. That seems pretty unlikely for that to be a chance. So I would, I don't know if I would have worded it quite that way. I'd have worded it more like, you need to do this. But he was like, maybe we're sent for this exact reason. So I thought that was interesting. But so in the end, Esther goes in anyway. And her life is spared, obviously, and she goes ahead and tells him, I am a Jew, and she invites them to a banquet, and she tells him and Haman, I'm a Jew, and that these are my fathers, and he's seeking after our lives, and they Haman ends up getting hanged, and the king ends up granting her the wish, and they don't end up killing all the Jews. So I thought it was interesting that literally all that happened just from her one decision to go in there. I'm sure she could have easily just said, nope, not going to do it. My uncle's crazy. He don't know what he's talking about. I'm just going to stay here and just be queen, and it'll be fine. No one will ever know. But instead of doing that, she decided to go and risk her life to do what she felt like God wanted from her, and to, I think it was honoring to God, because something I do think was interesting that I didn't say was that, her uncle had commanded her not to tell anybody that she was a Jew. And so in one sense, I would say that probably was wrong, because she was denying her heritage and denying God to everyone else, because nobody knew. So I think it was very important that she did go and tell them that she was a Jew, and that they knew that because of that she was a believer in God. And so anyway, it's just a really good story of courage and resolve, and the fact that she said, if I perish, I perish. When she decided she was going, she was pretty stout about it. I'm going to do it whether I die or not. And she just trusted God to get her through it. So I think it just goes to show, there's a couple other instances of this happening with different people in the Bible, but it just shows that even when we're in weird, rough places, like we feel like maybe we're surrounded by enemies or bad stuff's happening, God is going to make a way for us to get through that. I imagine God had that plan, hundreds of years before that even happened. Like, he knew that it was going to happen, and he made that plan for there to be a way for the Jews to not be slaughtered. So, and that all boils down to, more than likely, there will be a day in our lives, maybe not our lives, maybe our kids' lives, maybe their kids, but there will be a day here in America, I believe, that, whether it's a metaphorical gun or a real gun, there will be probably a gun to your head to see if you are willing to proclaim Christ as your Lord or not. And I just hope that we all pray that we have the strength of Esther to proclaim it. And just remember that in Matthew 10:33, it says, "Any man that denies me before men, I will deny also to my Father in heaven." So that's it for me.